we find out that when the Spirit of the Lord, the advocate, sent from the Father, the Spirit of truth, comes, he will testify to me. But also the disciples will testify. The Spirit of truth is the mark of Christ's mission. He himself called his mission, I came to give the witness to the truth, and I am the truth. The one who is from the truth will listen to my voice. And then referring to the sheep who are not from his fold, Jesus said, they don't listen to my voice because they are not listening to the truth. The truth about the reality, the truth about our existence, the meaning of our lives, what truly is the goal of who we are, the truth as it's seen by God himself. When we're in a proper disposition of heart and search for the truth, when we want to embrace it, God will make himself known to us. When we find out in the first reading that Lydia from the city of Thyatira, a worshiper of God, listened to the apostles. But she listened with the right disposition, with the right intention. We can listen the way Prophet Isaiah speaks about, meaning without understanding, being distracted, not interested in having the truth enter our hearts. That's one way of listening. Not by chance. The prophet said you're listening, but you cannot perceive. It remains outside of you. And the opposite is, for example, Martha, who sat at Jesus' feet and listened to his words. Very different ways of listening. When Jesus finds a person who in listening is not passive and distant, but open to the truth, then we find out that the Lord opened Lydia's heart to pay attention, to listen attentively. That's not the same as just hearing something. When a news of a great importance is being proclaimed, then we are very attentive. We don't allow a single word to drop to the ground. Everything is a treasure of value. Then you are so acutely attuned to the word that you don't get distracted. That is the mark of someone for whom the word starts making a difference, and inside one's person's heart that is already searching for the truth, there is a connection in between the word that is proclaimed coming from Jesus, who is the truth, and the search for the truth. There is a connection. Listening attentively. The same word appears in the Acts of the Apostles when, for example, Peter sees a man looking at him attentively who has faith needed for healing. And sure enough, the miracle takes place. When Lydia listens attentively to the word being preached, because the Lord opened her heart, then we find out that the action takes place, the baptism. She's overtaken by the truth, and in her heart, she says, that is the word that comes from above. I'm not sure what worshiper of God she was, but definitely she was looking for something deeper. That's already an answer for many of our questions. How come some people receive the message and welcome it, others instead don't? Not everybody wants to find the truth. Not everybody is interested in being overtaken and conquered by the truth. maybe few aspects that have to do, but really there is no open heart, no attentive heart. There is an evil in the heart with a wrong disposition, because Jesus' relatives listened to him in the synagogue of Nazareth with a wrong intention, and they were not conquered by the truth. As a matter of fact, they were conquered by the spirit of anger and of violence, desiring to kill him. But instead, Lydia receives the baptism with her entire household, indicating one person is needed to convert and the whole household receives the faith. She enters in a new dimension of her life. There was something before. She was searching and looking, and God let herself be found in Jesus' message, preached by the apostles. Now things change. The one who welcomes Christ doesn't live the same life anymore. St. John Paul II teaches it's impossible, if Christ conquers us with his truth, that we would continue a life of sin, of duplicity, of hypocrisy, of all sorts of vices. Mutually exclusive reality. What follows after? That she welcomed the apostles, telling them, if you consider me a believer in the Lord, come and stay at my house. And we find out that she prevailed on us. What she did was exactly what the disciples going to Emmaus did to Jesus, as if pulling his sleeve, forcing him to stay, to remain, but not momentarily, to abide. Translating it, we may say, to baptize a kid, it's not enough. Even an adult, there is a very high percentage of people who, although received in the church, baptized in the faith, 2, 3, 4 years later, at least half of them are gone. Why? They didn't receive the apostolic teaching. Do you recall that gospel when Jesus Christ says, when the spirit is cast out from a house, it's wandering in the wastelands until a point of saying, let me go back and to the place from which I had been cast out. And he returns and finds it nicely swept clean and decorated, but empty. Then he goes, he calls the 7 worst spirits, and he enters that house and abide there. The house, our lives, cannot remain empty, cannot remain vacant, needs to be inhabited by the Lord, not by chance. The apostles are even forced to come and dwell in Lydia's house. When we don't receive and nourish ourselves on the teachings of the saints, of the church, our spirit is not nourished and gradually becomes vacant of the Lord, the evil one will arrive. God needs to be invited and sometimes, in quote, forcefully welcomed, because it's up to us if we are interested or not. It's critical because Jesus Christ also, in today's gospel, speaks about the persecutions. I can only picture and read in between the lines from other passages of the Acts of the Apostles what happens with the believers. They are ostracized, they are attacked, they are criticized. Their lives are no longer the same. Their set of values changed. People looking at them at this stage would start hating, criticizing, even attacking them aggressively, persecuting them. Many would fall away, as nowadays we don't want to make waves and would like to be liked by everyone and accepted, especially by those who are close to us, our friends. And so it's very easy to compromise our faith, to let it go, to say, I'll be a believer silently according to my own schemas, but I really don't want to miss my friends or my relatives. I would like to be liked by them and don't want to be persecuted, which basically brings us to the point that we are not believers. We embrace something completely different. And Jesus Christ speaks about it. They will exclude you from the synagogue. You will be hated. And there will be even those who would think that by killing you, they do favor to God. To last, persevere, and stand firm in these conditions, you need to have your interior house inhabited by the Spirit, by the grace of God, and be able to love the Lord beyond all strength, beyond your understanding, because Christ's message conquered you. We need to ask to have this attitude of Lydia, who, as a matter of fact, was the first inhabitant in Europe who received faith. The very first one. But from her, just one lady with her household, and then the faith further on spread through the whole Europe. It's very significant, but it shows there are people who prefer and search for the truth with all their hearts and desires, wanting the truth to conquer them, and ultimately their entire lives get changed. I already witnessed all throughout the years of my priesthood, those who are interested in finding Christ, in finding the truth, they really have variety of different circumstances happening in their lives when they find an angel, an apostle of the Lord sent to them. Those who just play double and are not interiorly disposed to receive the truth, God will not send you the apostles, because you are not even willing to listen to them. If only with great joy we may welcome the message of salvation.